Hi, it's Darius, and wanted to make a 5-minute video on how to create more abundance and how to plug into more abundance. This is a big topic for a lot of people, and a lot of people have questions about this. And first of all, I'm going to make a very clear claim that this is all about perspective. The one thing you're going to learn about abundance and money, I think, that will change your life is that it's all about perspective. It is all neutral until you actually give it meaning, until you actually give it a belief system, until you give it a perspective that either serves you or doesn't serve you. And you might say, well, how do I earn more? What do I do next? Or how do I get rid of these challenges? And the real way to do that is through the quantum energy of shifting perspective. Because when you shift perspective, you actually change your place in the quantum matrix. And I do believe there is a quantum matrix as it relates to money and abundance that's in our energy field, and that's in sort of our placement on the grid of our experience. So if you're here watching this video, chances are you probably have a device, a phone, a computer. Maybe you're in a library. Maybe you're in a place where there is a library and you can actually watch a video like this for free. Then chances are you probably are fairly abundant when we look at it from the perspective that those that are able to actually access a phone, a computer, a library, computer terminal, probably are in the 95 to 97 percentile of wealth in the world. Because if you're in a Western country or in a country where you have such a thing, you're probably wealthier than most people, and you're probably more wealthy than all those people in history who came before us as little as 200 years ago, who didn't have all of this information. And at a bare minimum, you could say, I may not have an abundance of money, but I have an abundance of information. And so if you can have that first perspective shift, you'll begin to open up some new awarenesses. Now, the next thing you might say is, well, that's great, but I've got all these things going on, all these expenses and all these things that I have to pay, and I don't know how to do them, or I can't have the house I want or the thing that I want. And ask the question, what is the belief holding all of that stuff in place? What is the thing that you are holding on to, the belief system, the idea? What needs to be true for me to be at this point in my life? In my own life, I remember for a great number of years, there was a certain number that I was, I'm gonna hit the car bark. There was a certain number that I was sort of thinking in my mind that I needed in order to leave the full-time job that I had working at a consulting company. And this was the number that I was making at this company. So the boss was paying me X number of dollars, and I remember thinking, if I could just start teaching and publishing and I could earn this much a month on my own, I wouldn't have to work at this job. And as long as I held that idea, I actually was able, within a fairly short period of time, actually about 4 months, to create that amount of income, and I was able to leave the job. But what was interesting was that idea stayed in my mind for a very long time, and because of that, I actually ended up having that same level of income for like 2 years thereafter, because I was so much into creating that, I never let it go. And what I realized when I started to let that go was that I was holding in place that reality of that amount being the top that I could get to. And it was challenging for me to get out of it until I realized that. So ask the question, if there is struggle, if there is lack, what do you have to believe for that to stay in your life? Because everything we are creating in this reality, in this quantum world, we are holding in place with certain actions. And like, for example, if you say, I choose to watch a TV show versus go and listen to some sort of growth program, or think about what I really want to do with my life, or get an education on how to market what I do, or how to become an energy healer, or how to write a book. That's a choice. You're holding in place that reality by watching somebody else who has maybe tens of millions of dollars, the celebrities that are making $100 million. I'm putting my energy into them and following them versus what is it I am really here to do? How can I really rise up to be that gift that I am? And if you just do a few of those things, you ask the question, number one, how do I see myself? Am I abundant or not? I am abundant. I have access to all this information, possibility, and even devices where I can access a world of information. Number two, what am I holding in place by, sticking to this idea of how abundant I am or I'm not? I must be holding it in place with an idea. What is the idea? What is the limiting idea that I have? And then take a different action, begin to take a different action. And you may say, well, I try, but I get stuck, or this keeps coming up. And yes, this is where the energy work, absolutely, I keep doing it because it lets me break free of those harder sticking points. And that's why we have the show, You Wealth Revolution. And if you want to get a really powerful MP3 to begin getting out of some of these frequencies, we've got a free gift down below. And also, if you like this video or short things like this, hit subscribe. I'll be doing more of them. And also, we've got a daily energy show 4 days a week live, and we will help you to move energy that could be stuck in your field. All right, I am off and gonna go home and hopefully get a shave here finally. Take care and thank you, everyone. Much love.